Right, so we've got Breaking Barriers, a courageous guide to overcoming fear and embracing growth. And, well, it looks like you're ready to tackle some personal challenges, huh?
Yeah.
And expert speaker and I are here to help you break down this book's key insights to conquer
Hmm.
those fears that are holding you back.
Yeah.
The book starts by emphasizing that fear is a natural human experience, not something to be eradicated, but a guide to personal growth.
Right.
So we're going to equip you with practical tools and mindset shifts
Hmm.
to navigate those fears.
Mm.
Step out of that comfort zone and embrace the unknown.
Yeah.
What do you say? Are you ready to break some barriers?
Absolutely. What's fascinating about this book is that it doesn't frame fear as the enemy.
Oh,
It emphasizes that it's a natural part of being human,
okay.
a signal that we're on the cusp of something potentially amazing.
It's like that feeling you get right before a big presentation,
Yeah.
butterflies in your stomach, that kind of thing.
Hmm.
Instead of letting those feelings paralyze you, the book encourages you to use that energy to prepare and refine your message.
Yeah.
It's about reframing fear, wouldn't you say?
Exactly. And that reframing starts with understanding the science behind fear.
Okay.
The book dives into the role of the amygdala, that little almond-shaped part of the brain that acts like our internal alarm system.
Oh, I've heard of the amygdala. It's constantly scanning for threats, right?
That's right. When it senses danger, whether real or imagined,
Yeah.
it triggers a cascade of physiological responses. Your heart races, palms sweat,
Oh, yeah.
breathing gets shallow,
Yeah.
that classic fight or flight response.
So that's why I get those sweaty palms before a job interview, even though it's not like I'm facing a lion.
Right. Our
Okay.
brains haven't quite caught up to modern life.
Yeah.
The amygdala can get triggered by everyday situations, leading to unnecessary anxiety.
Okay, so understanding how our brains work is the first step. But what about all the different kinds of fear?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of the unknown.
Mhm.
It can feel overwhelming.
Absolutely. And the book acknowledges that.
Okay.
It breaks down these different types of fear and gives you practical tools to deal with them. But instead of just listing them out, how about we connect this to your life?
Okay.
What's one specific fear that's been holding you back lately?
That's a great question. I'd say my biggest fear right now is putting my creative work out there for the world to see.
Uh-huh.
I have this idea for a children's book, but the fear of judgment and rejection is keeping me from actually finishing it.
That's a very common fear, and it's great that you're bringing it to light.
Yeah.
The book suggests a technique called fear setting to address this.
Good.
Instead of letting the fear stay vague and overwhelming, you actually write down the worst case scenarios. What's the absolute worst thing that could happen if you published your book?
Well, I guess people could leave negative reviews,
Uh-huh.
or maybe no one would buy it at all.
Oh.
Just saying that out loud makes me cringe.
Sure. I hear you, but stick with me now that you've identified those fears. The book encourages you to ask yourself, could I handle that?
Okay.
Could you cope with negative reviews? Would it be the end of the world if your book didn't become a bestseller?
When you put it that way, those fears don't seem so insurmountable. I mean, even if my book didn't sell well, at least I would have finished it, which is more than I can say now.
Exactly. Fear setting helps you put things in perspective. It also frees up mental energy to focus on the positive possibilities. What if your book did resonate with people?
Oh.
What if it brought joy and inspiration to children?
Well, that's a thought I can get behind.
Yeah.
I'm starting to see how reframing fear can actually be empowering.
Hmm.
So we've talked about understanding the science of fear and even tackling specific fears head on. But I think the book also talks about something called the comfort zone trap.
Yes.
That's something a lot of us can probably relate to.
Absolutely. We all have our comfort zones, those familiar routines and habits that give us a sense of security. But if we stay there too long,
Yeah.
we stop growing.
It's like staying in your pajamas all day,
Mm.
right? It feels cozy at first, but eventually you need to get up and engage with the world.
Exactly. The book challenges you to identify your comfort zones and then think about the growth zone that lies just beyond the fear zone.
Okay, let's say my comfort zone is staying in and writing, but never sharing my work.
Mm-hmm.
My fear zone is the thought of actually publishing it. So what would my growth zone look like in this scenario?
Your growth zone might involve taking small steps towards sharing your work.
Okay.
Maybe you join a writer's group and get feedback from fellow writers, or you could start by sharing excerpts of your book with trusted friends and family.
So it's about pushing those boundaries little by little, not trying to make a giant leap all at once.
Exactly. And each time you venture into that growth zone, your comfort zone expands, and what once felt terrifying becomes more manageable.
This has given me a lot to think about already. So
Yeah.
we've covered understanding fear, identifying our comfort zones, and getting a glimpse of what lies beyond.
Mm-hmm.
Where do we go from here? There's still so much to unpack.
Well, the book dives into a whole toolbox of techniques to help you actually overcome those fears and step into that growth zone.
Okay.
We'll explore those in our next segment. Are you ready to open that toolbox?
Absolutely. I can't wait to see what fear-busting tools we discover next.
Great.
Okay, we're back and ready to open that toolbox of fear-busting techniques you mentioned. I'm ready to conquer those fears and step boldly into my growth zone. What's the first tool we're pulling out?
Well, remember how we talked about the power of visualization earlier? This book takes it to the next level with a technique called mental rehearsal.
Mental rehearsal sounds intriguing.
It is. Instead of just vaguely picturing success, mental rehearsal encourages you to create a detailed mental movie of yourself navigating a specific feared situation.
Okay.
You engage all your senses. What do you see, hear, feel, even smell?
So in my case, I can imagine myself sitting at my computer, typing the final words of my children's book,
Mm-hmm.
hitting publish, and then seeing positive comments from readers.
Exactly. And don't just focus on the outcome. Visualize the process, the challenges you might encounter, and how you'll overcome them.
Right.
Imagine yourself handling criticism with grace and using it to improve your work.
That's a great point. Instead of fearing those obstacles, I can rehearse how we'll navigate them.
Yeah?
It's like giving my brain a dress rehearsal for success.
Precisely. The book explains that mental rehearsal helps reduce anxiety by familiarizing your brain with the situation and building your confidence.
Right.
It's like practicing for a big game or a performance. The more you rehearse, the more prepared and confident you'll feel when the time comes.
Okay, mental rehearsal is definitely going in my fear-busting toolkit.
Oh.
What else do we have in there?
Let's pull out one that's deceptively simple, but incredibly powerful, the 5-second rule.
Okay.
You heard of this one?
I've heard of it, but to be honest, I'm not sure I fully understand how it works. It sounds almost too simple.
It is simple, but that's the beauty of it. The book explains that when fear strikes, instead of letting it take over, you count down from 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then immediately take action. This interrupts the fear response and gives you a window of opportunity to move forward before those doubts can creep back in.
So if I'm feeling terrified of hitting publish on my book, I just count down from 5 and click the button before I can overthink it.
Well, the key is to act before your mind can talk you out of it.
Okay.
It's like hijacking your fear response and redirecting that energy into action.
I'm starting to see how this could be a game changer. It's like a little mental trick to outsmart my fear.
Exactly. And the book emphasizes that the more you use the 5-second rule, the more you'll weaken the hold fear has over you. It's like building a muscle. The more you exercise it, the stronger it becomes.
Okay, this toolbox is already overflowing with amazing techniques. Mental rehearsal, the 5-second rule. What else do we have?
This next tool might sound a bit intimidating at first, but it's incredibly effective. It's called exposure therapy.
Exposure therapy. Okay, that sounds a bit intense. What exactly does that involve?
It's about gradually exposing yourself to the thing you fear in controlled doses.
So if I'm afraid of public speaking, I might start by giving a presentation to a small group of friends and then gradually work my way up to larger audiences.
Exactly. Or in your case, if you're afraid of sharing your rating, you might start by posting short excerpts on social media or submitting your work to a small literary magazine.
That makes sense. It's like dipping my toes in the water instead of diving headfirst into the deep end.
Precisely, the book explains that each successful exposure, no matter how small, helps to reduce the fear response over time.
Yeah.
It's like retraining your brain to see the feared situation as less threatening.
Okay, I'm definitely going to give exposure therapy a try, but I have to admit, even with all these amazing tools, there are still times when fear feels overwhelming. What can I do when I feel like I'm drowning in anxiety?
That's where grounding techniques come. In the book, emphasizes the importance of bringing yourself back to the present moment when fear starts to spiral.
So it's about getting out of my head and back into my body.
Exactly. The book suggests focusing on your senses. What do you see, hear, smell, taste, and touch right now? It could be as simple as noticing the feeling of your feet on the ground or the coolness of the air on your skin.
I can see how that would be helpful when I'm spiraling. It's like my mind is racing a million miles an hour. Focusing on my senses could help me slow down and reconnect with the present.
Exactly. The book also suggests using positive affirmations to counteract fear-based thoughts.
Oh, I love affirmations.
Oh.
Do you have any examples from the book?
One that really resonated with me is, I am capable of handling anything that comes my way. Or for your specific situation, you could say, my writing is valuable and I am worthy of sharing it with the world.
I love that it's like replacing those negative thoughts with a dose of self-belief and encouragement.
Precisely. And finally, the book recommends keeping a fear journal.
A fear journal, what's that all about?
It's a place to track your fears, challenge them, and plan steps to overcome them. You can write down what triggers your fear, the thoughts and feelings that arise, and any actions you can take to address it.
That's a great idea. It's like turning my fear into something tangible that I can analyze and work through.
Exactly. And the book emphasizes that journaling can help you identify patterns in your fear responses and develop personalized strategies for managing them effectively.
Wow, this toolbox is truly amazing. We've got mental rehearsal, the 5-second rule exposure therapy, grounding techniques, positive affirmations, and a fear journal. I'm feeling so much more equipped to deal with fear now.
That's fantastic to hear, but remember, overcoming fear isn't a one-and-done deal. It's an ongoing process that requires practice and patience.
That's a good reminder. It's like learning any new skill. It takes time and effort to master it. So we've covered a lot of ground in this segment, but I know there's still more to explore. Where do we go from here? What other gems of wisdom does the book have in store for us?
Well, next we're going to move beyond managing fear and into the realm of building resilience, that inner strength that helps you bounce back from setbacks and keep moving forward, even when things get tough, ready to level up your resilience game.
Absolutely. Bring on the resilience building techniques. Okay, so we're back for the final part of our deep dive into breaking barriers.
Yeah.
We've unpacked so much already,
Yeah.
from the science of fear to practical techniques like the 5-second rule and exposure therapy.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm really excited to explore this next topic, building resilience.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like the key to not just overcoming fear, but actually thriving in the face of challenges.
You're absolutely right. Resilience is like that inner strength that helps you bounce back from setbacks.
Yeah.
Learn from your mistakes and keep moving forward even when things get tough. And this book offers some powerful insights on how to cultivate that resilience.
So it's not just about bouncing back, it's about bouncing back stronger.
Exactly. It's about developing the mental and emotional flexibility to adapt to challenges.
Okay.
And even use those challenges as fuel for growth.
Okay, I'm all about growth, but how do I actually build this superpower of resilience?
Well, the book emphasizes the importance of reframing setbacks as learning opportunities. It's easy to get caught in a cycle of self-blame when things don't go our way.
Yeah.
But what if instead of seeing failure as a reflection of our worth, we saw it as valuable feedback?
It's like that saying, fail forward.
Exactly. Every setback, every mistake is a chance to learn, adjust, and improve. The book
Yeah.
also highlights the importance of self-compassion when we're facing a challenge. It's easy to beat ourselves up, but resilience thrives on kindness.
So instead of saying, I can't believe I messed that up, I could say, everyone makes mistakes. What can I learn from this experience?
Exactly. And remember, you're not alone in this journey. The book emphasizes the importance of building a strong support network.
Right.
Surrounding yourself with people who believe in you, friends, family, mentors, can make all the difference.
That makes sense sometimes. Just having someone to listen and offer encouragement can give you the strength to keep going.
Yeah. Absolutely. Sharing your struggles and celebrating your wins with supportive people can help you stay motivated and resilient, even when the going gets tough.
Okay, so we've talked about reframing setbacks, practicing self-compassion, and building a support system. What other resilience-building gems does the book offer?
Well, it touches on a topic we've already explored a bit, embracing the unknown. The book challenges us to reframe uncertainty,
Right.
not as a threat, but as a realm of possibility. It's where we discover new passions, develop hidden talents, and create a life that's truly aligned with our authentic selves.
It's about choosing curiosity over fear.
Exactly, and the book reminds us that even when things feel uncertain, we can cultivate a sense of peace by staying grounded in the present moment.
I'm remembering those grounding techniques we talked about earlier, focusing on our senses, bringing our attention to the here and now.
Exactly. Those techniques are not just for managing anxiety in the moment, but for cultivating a resilient mindset that can help you navigate uncertainty with more grace and ease.
This is all so empowering. It feels like the book is giving us permission to step into the unknown with more courage and confidence.
It is, and it reminds us that resilience isn't something we either have or don't have. It's a skill we can develop and strengthen over time through practice and perseverance.
Speaking of perseverance, that brings us to another key theme of the book, persistence. Why is persistence so crucial in overcoming fear and building resilience?
Persistence is that unwavering commitment to keep moving forward even when the going gets tough. It's what separates dreamers from doers.
I love that distinction.
Yeah.
So how do we cultivate this unwavering persistence? Because let's face it, we all have moments where we feel like giving up.
Absolutely. And the book acknowledges that. It
Yeah.
encourages you to break down large goals into smaller, more manageable steps that we've small wins along the way, which keeps you motivated.
It's like climbing a mountain, right? You
Oh,
focus on reaching the next base camp rather than fixating on the distant summit.
exactly. The book also highlights the power of establishing routines that support your goals.
Okay.
Whether it's setting aside dedicated time each day to work on a project or creating a system for accountability routines can help you stay on track even when your motivation wanes.
That makes sense. Routines create a sense of structure and help you build momentum. What about those moments when you just feel stuck?
Well, remember how we talked about the importance of a support network? That's where accountability partners come in.
Uh-huh.
Sharing your goals and progress with someone you trust can provide that extra boost of motivation and encouragement when you need it.
It's like having a cheerleader on the sidelines reminding you of your strength and potential.
Exactly. And beyond external support, the book emphasizes the importance of cultivating self-belief. Believing in your ability to overcome challenges and achieve your goals is crucial for sustained persistence.
It's about silencing those inner critics and replacing negative self-talk with empowering affirmations.
You got it every time you choose courage over fear, every time you take a step outside your comfort zone, every time you persist in the face of a challenge, you're strengthening that muscle of self-belief.
This deep dive has been such an incredible journey. We've explored the science of fear, practical techniques for managing it, and now these powerful concepts of resilience, persistence, and self-belief. It feels like we've been given a roadmap for not just overcoming fear, but actually using it as a catalyst for growth and transformation.
I agree, and the book concludes with a powerful message about embracing change, recognizing that change is an inevitable part of life,
Mhm.
and that it often serves as a catalyst for growth and transformation.
Change can definitely be scary, but it's also what keeps life interesting. How does the book suggest we navigate change effectively?
It starts with a mindset shift, moving from a place of resistance to a place of acceptance, instead of fearing change or trying to cling to the familiar.
Yeah.
The book encourages us to see change as an opportunity to evolve, to learn new things, and to create a life that's more aligned with our evolving values and goals.
It's about surrendering to the flow of life rather than trying to control every outcome.
Precisely, the book also highlights the importance of setting small, achievable goals when facing a major change.
Mhm.
This prevents us from feeling overwhelmed and helps us maintain momentum as we navigate the transition.
It's about breaking down those big, scary changes into bite-sized pieces that we can manage more easily.
Exactly. And of course, cultivating flexibility and resilience is key when navigating change. Things rarely go exactly as planned.
Right.
So being able to adapt to unexpected twists and turns is crucial.
It's about being able to roll with the punches and adjust our course as needed.
Yes, and just like with all the other challenges we've discussed, seeking support and guidance from others can be invaluable when facing change, whether it's talking to a trusted friend or mentor or seeking professional coaching. Having a support system in place can help you feel less alone and more empowered to navigate the transition successfully.
So in a nutshell, the book is saying change is inevitable. So embrace it, break it down, stay flexible, and lean on your support system. Sounds like a recipe for navigating life's twists and turns with grace and resilience.
That's great summation. It really highlights the book's overarching message. We have the power to transform our relationship with fear, to see it not as an obstacle, but as an opportunity for growth, connection, and extraordinary change.
This has been such an insightful deep dive. I feel like I have a whole new perspective on fear and a toolkit full of strategies for navigating life challenges with more confidence and resilience. What about you?
Absolutely. It's a powerful reminder that growth is a continuous journey, not a destination, and that we have the power within us to break through barriers, embrace our full potential, and create a life filled with purpose and meaning.
So for our listener who is feeling inspired and ready to take action, what is one key takeaway they can implement in their lives starting today?
I think the most powerful message the book offers is this: don't let fear hold you back from living the life you truly desire.
Hmm.
Embrace the unknown, step outside your comfort zone, and persist in the face of challenges. You are capable of achieving anything you set your mind to.
Beautiful. And as the book reminds us, this is not a solo mission. We don't have to go it alone.
Right. Build a strong support system, surround yourself with people who believe in you, and remember that we're all in this together.
So true.
Yeah.
Well, I think we've done it. We've broken down the barriers of fear and emerged on the other side stronger, wiser, and ready to embrace all that life has to offer.
Indeed, we have. It's been an absolute pleasure diving deep with you into this empowering book.
And to our listener, we hope this deep dive has sparked a fire within you, a desire to break free from the limitations of fear and step boldly into the realm of limitless possibilities. Remember, the journey starts with a single step. What's one thing you're ready to do today that you were previously too afraid to try? Keep those comfort zones, stretch those fears in check, and those dreams alive. Until next time, happy exploring.